Hey, it's Nitya with Karma Chameleon. So good to see you. So, we are continuing our adventure with Feng Shui and Flying Stars Feng Shui. On this channel, we also uh, read the charts, the Bazi Chinese astrology charts of famous people in order to better understand our own lives and our own charts. So, welcome. If this is something that speaks to you, feel free to subscribe, follow, like, all the good things. So, I've posted a bunch of videos about feng shui and my approach. There's many different approaches. I am trained in traditional feng shui, flying stars feng shui. Form school feng shui, which is the outside of our home. And so everybody's kind of got their take, their translation, interpretation of this practice that's thousands of years old. I'll share this little tidbit with you. I was with a psychic many, many years ago who said that I was a man in China in one of my lives, and that I built whole cities on feng shui, using feng shui practices. And I have to say, when I was studying this back in 2002, long time ago, that I've never learned anything so fast. It was like remembering. So that wasn't surprising that psychic said that. And my approach is deeply intuitive. I never forget a house. So when I come to this topic, which is so important, think about how much of our lives we are asleep and the importance of good rest on our health and our ability to thrive in life. So our bedroom is a critical space. Let's break it down. The do's and don'ts of your bedroom. Let's go in. All right. First of all, this is not a yang space. It's not for dancing and playing games with the kids. It is a sanctuary. It's a sanctuary for intimacy and rest and retreat. I'm not going to get into the whole thing of co-sleeping with your kids. Not going to go there. Just going to leave this as something to consider and chew on. We all have our opinions. All right, so we want muted colors. Nothing big, bold, and loud. Not like violet, not like orange, not like red, right? Nice, muted, soft, soothing colors. Let's go around the bagua, okay? We'll go around the bagua real quick and give you some ideas of colors that you might use in your bedroom. Let's start in the south. In the south, which is fiery, I might choose a really soft peach, or maybe a dusty rose, okay? If I were coming around to the southwest, and also with the southwest, I would also throw in the northeast. But let's stick with the southwest. Could be the same colors of peach, of a chamois, a soft, buttery lemon color, warm cream color, okay? And then we're going to come around to the metal directions, west, northwest. And again, I would go for something really soft. A warm, very light gray, but add some of that warmth to it. You don't want it to be cold and sterile. Gray can be very cold. And then we're going to come around to, so that was west, northwest, to the north. The north and the northeast, I would use a really soft baby blue. Very soft. Maybe even lavender. really soft colors, like the most pastel version for the bedroom. And then we come around to east southeast, which is wood. And here I would use like a celery green. Yeah, so we've kind of gone around the wheel. And so you can kind of get a sense of these colors. They're very soft palette, okay? All right, so then let's look around the room. And as you look around the room, we want to make sure that this is a space. And, you know, in some of the stories I talked about clients that I've had who had some real problems in the bedroom. A woman who couldn't sleep, turns out that she had ceiling fan going and TV screen and 2 mirrors and windows with light flooding in and so much chi happening. So be mindful of mirrors. And if you have one on your vanity, I would just cover it up with a decorative cloth, like a scarf in the evening. Rounded corners, nothing sharp, nothing angular, and no electronics. And yeah, oh yeah, I've been in so many houses now where every child has a TV in their room. It disrupts sleep. It disrupts the creative mind. This is your retreat place, especially for a kid. And we could do kids' bedrooms in another video because that really is a whole nother thing. When do we allow ourselves to turn these things off? I mean, think about it. You can be working and listening to podcasts and YouTube all day. And then we're talking on the phone. And we're still working in front of the screen. And then we go to lunch and we're still on a screen. We get in the car and we're still on a screen. You go for a walk with your dog. You go for a walk in nature. You're still on a screen. You go for a run and you've got your earbuds in and you're listening to music because for whatever reason, you don't want to be connected to nature and the sounds around you, even above the din of the noise of a city street. You can listen for the wind and the songbirds. So this is like taking a deep breath and recognizing what your bedroom is meant for. I have tried so hard to break the habit of going to bed with my phone. I've started putting it in the bottom drawer, kind of hanging out of it with the charger, so it's not near my head, and I have it on silent in the night, and it's away so that when the screen lights up with all the notifications, it's not disturbing my sleep and waking me up. Screens are the death of a relationship. It's the death of intimacy. Everybody's in their own world. Everybody's doing their own thing. And it disrupts the room and space for conversation, for self-inquiry. I love to go to bed and have a book. Maybe I do some yin yoga while I'm reading my book, right? Maybe I do some journaling while I'm in bed. Maybe have a hot cup of tea and just look out the window. I'm trying very hard to put that phone down because it interrupts my sleep, keeps me up too late, and it's time to let it all go so that you are in your sanctuary at night. Okay, I think I've driven that point home. Okay. We want yin light and yin energy. So I know ceiling fans are a big thing. I've gotten rid of all but one in my house. And what happens with ceiling fans? They're called poison arrows. spinning knives. Because when you think about it, if everything is energy, right, then we must recognize that the paddles, as they're moving, and some of these designs that I've seen recently, in recent years, they are very industrial looking. It looks like the inside of a blender on your ceiling of your room. And it chops up the air. It aggravates the air. And depending on the feng shui, the flying stars feng shui of that room, you could be antagonizing and activating a really negative energy. And then all of a sudden you're wondering, why am I arguing with my partner so much when we're in the bedroom? Why do I feel so agitated in here? Why is my sleep disturbed? Okay. And, some people are like, well, I get really hot at night and my partner's really, got a different temperature. You can use a small floor fan, something less invasive in the room. Okay. And recognizing the room needs to be dark and quiet, that nurturing space. I was talking about in the first video that I posted about feng shui, looking at home, how I suffered for having a bedroom for 3 years on the exterior side of the house, the street side, and how I could hear people walking and having conversations and all the traffic. That's yang, and that disturbed my sleep. It disturbed my sense of privacy for intimacy. So we got to think of all these things, right? What is the purpose of a room? And how do we honor and respect that for everyone that's using that room? And communicating in a way that makes that work for everyone, right? And hey, if you're not ready to go to bed when they are, hang out with your laptop, but communicate with each other so that there is a set period of time, because you can really lose track of the people in your home through these screens, because there is always something to look at. It's always something. Thanks for looking at this. I hope it's helpful. Position of the bed. I remember this house. I bet this couple isn't there. When I delivered the feng shui report, which I have to say, when I do a feng shui consultation with you through Zoom, these virtual readings are amazing. We could be anywhere in the world. We go through your home. You're going to get a room by room breakdown of what's there, what's working, what isn't, what suggestions are going to make this happen so that you're getting the ultimate experience out of your home and your life. And this woman wasn't happy. She knew things were off. And it's a narrow row house in an historic district of Richmond. And nothing worked. The bedrooms, the older homes, they weren't designed for all these big beds and everything we want being big. Queen size, king size beds don't fit in these little bedrooms. And in fact, the room itself looks completely dwarfed. So that's another thing to keep in mind. What is the size of the room? How do I bring in furniture that doesn't feel like it's just furniture and there's no breathing space? There's no moving around space. So I'm coming up the stairs of this house and I turn to my right and, I'm like coming up the steps so I can see through the railings, the second floor, and there's the bed. Right there, facing the door. Coffin position, they call that, because in the ancient times, old times, they would place the bed conveniently facing the door so that if you died, they could just carry on out. It's like, oh my gracious. It is not a comfortable position to be in at all. Another horrible one is if your bed is squished up against a corner because you've closed out the other partner. This is really important for people who are single. Never push your bed up against the wall. It's the death of you. You're going to be single forever. Serious up. You want space so each person can easily get into the bed. You don't want the bed to be up against a wall that shares the wall with the toilet or pipes, if at all possible. A feng shui cure that you can use if that is happening is to go behind the toilet and place a mirror, so that it is about this size, and you're facing the mirror part against the wall so that it's deflecting the negative toxic chi of the toilet from seeping through the bed. My first client, all these billions of years ago, was the head of, I believe it was the English department at a very well-known college in Northern Virginia, and very big job, very demanding. And she was losing her mind. She was going to neurologists trying to figure out what was going on. She couldn't remember anything. She couldn't hold on to her day-to-day tasks and accomplish them the way that she used to. She was freaking out. We moved her bed. That toxic chi can cause so many health problems, not to be messed with. I've seen too many real case situations to back up how feng shui is so important to our health, our wealth, our relationships, everything. All right, no electric blankets. No electric blankets. That is you can look that up yourself for how unhealthy that is. It's kind of like having the cell phone or a computer right by your bed while you're sleeping. It's all that radiation. Especially if you've got like your phone and the computer and it's all just piled around you, right? And looking at, again, where is that ceiling fan? And is the ceiling fan in your room proportionate to the room? Meaning that if your room is one size and you've got this massive ceiling fan, so every time you take your clothes off, you're banging your arms into it, you might want to think of replacing it. Just like you don't want a bed that's too big for the room. You need to be able to feel a sense of balance and being able to navigate through the room easily without having to shift your body to get around it. No laundry basket in the bedroom. Do it on the kitchen sink. Do it on the sofa, someplace else. Don't bring work into the bedroom. Not your actual job work, not housework, nothing. Don't bring anything in there. This is your sanctuary. This is your retreat. What's underneath your bed? I've seen guns. I've seen knives, big, huge swords. Do you think these people were well? Actually, the memory I have of a dear friend of mine who has asthma, her marriage was falling apart. Very difficult time. She called me and I was talking to her and she was wheezing so badly and she was saying, I just can't breathe. And all of a sudden I said, what's under your bed? Something's under your bed. And she went and looked and it was a gun. I said, please move that. That is part of the reason why you can't breathe. Some of these things are, like I said, are very intuitive. I went to a house where I remember going into the bedroom and there's a gun rack. And all of the gun barrels are pointing at the bed. Yeah. Might want to flip those around to point towards the bathroom. Oh, yeah. I've seen some stuff. I've also seen, all right, so that's what's underneath the bed because I'm going to launch into something else. So what is under your bed? It should be empty. Now, if you're in a place where space is very limited, maybe closet space, storage space is limited. If you've got drawers that are underneath there, something that is a very neat, tidy storage, you've got to work with what you have. It needs to be clean, it needs to be organized, and ideally, nothing underneath. Solid wall behind you, not backed into a corner. There it is. I'm backed into a corner. Don't think that sounds very restful. Even if you have it backed into a corner with a plant behind it or something else behind it to fill in that empty space, no. Ideally, you want a solid wall. Now, I have waxed verbose over how badly I have seen home designs in America. Haven't been to many places in other countries. I'd love to go. Who wants to send me around the world on feng shui consultations? I'm up for that. Let's go. Not kidding. Really. Let me know if you're interested. Anyway, so often when you go into a master bedroom, a main bedroom in a house, you're going to see one possible place for that bed. A lot of times it's sharing a wall with something. Unfortunate, really unfortunate if it's a bathroom wall. You lose intimacy if you're sharing a wall with one of your kids' rooms. And you lose privacy if you're sharing a wall where your neighbors are right there. Here's the wall, here's you, and here's them. Yeah. So sometimes we have to be up against a window, which is the case in my current bedroom. So what I did was I hung a really heavy blackout curtain. And it felt immediately like I had support. Now, before I had a chance in my new house to get that set up, I had the bed up against this window. And I have to say, I kept feeling like I was up in like a birdhouse because of how bright the room was, about how kind of like expansive the image, like the view of nature coming in, as lovely as it was too much yang. And that curtain, hanging it behind the bed, gave me not only the support, but it also darkened the room and softened that light. I love a good view. I could probably name a dozen places I've lived in my life where I woke up, I can close my eyes, I can imagine and remember so many beautiful views. Even when I was in a city, being able to see a tree when you wake up, being able to see the sky when you wake up, if you ask me, that's a luxury for sure. Alrighty. So we've talked about clutter, no dishes, no laundry piles. You don't come in, take your clothes off, leave them on the floor. You pick them up, you put them in the laundry basket. Laundry basket's fine, as long as it's got a lid on it, as long as it's not in view from where your bed is. You don't want to have something sitting there that's going to remind your subconscious all night long your work isn't done. Your work isn't done. And so you'd never really let go into that sanctuary within yourself. Pictures. I will do a whole video about art. I am an artist, and the art that surrounds us is so important. And I'm not talking stuff you get from the home goods store, okay? I'm talking about actual art you go to an art gallery and buy. You go to an antique store and buy. So when we're looking at art, I love over the bed. I remember this couple had a photo from their wedding, and then on either side of that, their vows to each other. Perfect. A single client of mine that I have been trying for years to get her set up with a fabulous guy using Feng Shui, but had her buy off of Etsy a beautiful image of a man and woman embracing, and that being over her bed. So images of romance, Kama Sutra, black ink drawings, those Chinese drawings that are so intimate and sexy. And you can get as you like. I've seen it. I've been in people's bedrooms. Sometimes it's a little shocking, some of the things that I've seen, but hey, this is their intimate space. Make it sexy. Make it sexy, even if it's just for yourself. All right. What else can we say? Let's look out the window. Make sure when you look out the window, there is nothing coming at the window, nothing coming at your bedroom. Power lines, corners of buildings, a dead tree, things like this, right? And one of my favorite things to create is a love altar. And for 2023, the Flower of Romance star number 4 is in the center of every home. If you look at the flying stars feng shui for each month, you'll see how this energy has shifted and changed. We've had some challenges. Even during Venus retrograde this summer, we had horrible energy in the center of the house, almost as if the East and the West were matching up to say, yeah, let's explode all the romantic relationships this summer. Some serious challenges. All right. We're going to wrap this up with your love altar. You ready? Everything in twos. Think of all your pairs of things. 2 chairs, 2 bedside tables. If you're single, make sure there's room in your closet, in your drawer, that there is a space for this person to walk into your life. And you don't have to move or change anything. That space is there for them. If you've got your table, your kitchen table where you sit and eat, always set it for 2 people. Always set your table for 2. Welcome that person into your life. All right, so love altar. A pair of birds, 2 candles. If it's by a window, 2 crystals, heart-shaped rose quartz crystals hanging in the window. Also makes beautiful rainbows. I love the rainbows coming in the morning. A picture of you and your love. Some favorite little treasures from your time together. And then to look at, if you're single, what is, who's a couple that you really admire, that have gone the long haul, that have seen each other through? Who is it? Who is that couple for you, right? And if you're single, and I'm saying this on a new moon, plant the seed in your life and ask God, the universe, however that language is for you, write a love note welcoming that person into your life and put it somewhere where you can see it every day and remind yourself that I am open to bringing love into my life. Create this sacred space for yourself, for healing, for rest. Set healthy boundaries with your family to know that this is your space. You love them dearly and you are there for them, but they have their room and you have your room. Please don't come into my space. without asking. And I'll honor and respect the same for you. And we can do these with this with our kids. And it's important to set that standard of healthy boundaries and respect. We don't just run in and bleed all over each other all the time. We need time to retreat. We need time to retreat and be away from our screens, to rest, to be intimate, to dream. Thank you so much. I would welcome your questions, and I hope to see you soon. Be well.